Good morning. We are close to getting started here, so as everybody makes their way in, I will go ahead and read our land acknowledgement. Pilgrim United Church of Christ occupies the ancestral, traditional, and contemporary lands of the Payam-Cowichim, the people of the West, known as the Luiseños today. Since time immemorial, the Ataxum, the people, lived in harmony with the land and were stewards of their natural environment. We honor their history and their continued presence in their native land, and pay our respects to the Luiseño as they continue to be a vital force in our region. And along with this effort of acknowledgement, we strive to develop a deeper understanding and appreciation for the Luiseño people. Terry Ante and Dave Irvine, ladies and gentlemen. All right, a few announcements before we get started. First off, our Good Samaritan offering. Each month we give a special offering as a way of reaching out to others in need. This month goes to Get on the Bus. So, Get on the Bus is a program that takes children to visit their incarcerated parents on Mother's Day and Father's Day. Money is raised for transportation, for food, snacks, other necessities along the trip. It's a whirlwind of a trip. I got to go with Gail last year. Quite the experience. So I encourage everybody who hasn't or even is interested or curious about it to see Gail or email Gail in the email provided in the bulletins there. Tamale Sunday is today, so there will be tamales after service. Be sure to give Mario your regards. And Dining Out for Life, San Diego, is April 25th. We did this last year, and it's in support for HIV/AIDS services. There's a bunch of restaurants in San Diego County that are participating and donating a portion of the proceeds to a lot of these organizations that work with that. And so the list of restaurants can be found in that link. I also posted it I'm posting it on social media this week, so just be on the lookout for that. And if you want to coordinate some restaurants to go to together, that'd be great too. But it'd be great to support the HIV/AIDS services for Dining Out for Life. And Madison, I believe you had an announcement for the pastor's reception.
Thank you, Josh. And it's good to be back. We had a great mission trip to Washington, D.C. Today after church, I'm hosting what I call the pastor's reception for those interested in membership. So if you've been attending and you think that you are interested in the church, you do not have to have made a decision. This is an opportunity for us to get a chance to talk rather than just saying hi, bye at the door. So just come on into Pilgrim Hall after you get your tamales. And of course, if you're coming to the pastor's reception or if you're a first-time visitor today, tamales are on the church house. So please get your tamales and come on in. And I'd be glad to answer any questions you have and give you a little bit of understanding about who we are as a church. And so whether you signed up or not, just come on into Pilgrim Hall right off the patio. And I'll see you after church.
Madness, my cue here. Is there any visitors in the house today? Please stand. Oh, hey, score. All right, welcome, you two. Welcome. Hey, everybody else stand up now, too. Let's welcome each other with a handshake, a hug, a high five. Your choice.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Judy Wallace. I'm today's liturgist. Please join me in our congregational affirmation. We are an open and affirming community within the United Church of Christ with a progressive theology, a commitment to spiritual growth, and a passion for social justice. Now, if you'll join with me in our call to community. Pilgrims, let us come together, mindful of the divine call to walk the pathways of justice set before us. On this earth torn apart, may we find comfort, strength, and determination in the assurance of God's guiding hand, steering us towards righteousness and equity. As we navigate the complexities of our time, let us heed the call to champion the cause of justice in all its forms. Let us walk boldly, guided by the light, and forever committed to the work of the good, true, and beautiful. Amen. Now, if you are able, please rise and join in our hymn 588, Let Justice Flow Like Streams.
Okay. Green? It's okay. Okay, it's good. So we got even more. It's great. Oh, now it's on. So today I want to talk to you a little bit about relationships. What are the most important relationships? This is kind of, ooh, it's back. Some relationships are kind of up and down, right? They come and go. But what are the most important relationships that we have? Family up there? Yeah. What about friends? Are friends important? Yeah, really important, right? Well, you know what? There's another relationship that's as important or maybe even more important than those because it's the relationship that makes all of those relationships possible. Do you know what today is? Celebrating, it's actually tomorrow, but it's Earth Day. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about our relationship with the earth. Because just like friends and family, we can make relationships great, right? We can make relationships good and loving. Can relationships even heal? When somebody's, yeah, you can heal with relationships. And our relationship with the earth is at a place where it needs a little help. You know, this little earth here is kind of fun, but in the past, people have sometimes done things that hurt the earth, and sometimes they didn't know. You know, they didn't know that they were hurting the earth. They put chemicals in waters and streams, and then people couldn't have clean water to live, and they, made a mistake. But other people that just get what they want. I want a big house and big money, and so I'm going to just put this stuff in the river because I don't care. And they smash the earth. And then what happens to it? It hurt? Yeah, and it is hurt. And it's really important that all of us do some things to help heal the earth and what we do. So I have a little poem that I brought to share, and I wondered if you pass this down, and maybe we'll start with you. Pass it down to all the other kids, and you can show all the people watching how gentle and how caring we can be with the earth. So here's the little poem I wrote with a little help from AI. In a world of green and blue, where skies are vast and oceans true, there's a special day we celebrate for our earth so precious and so great. On Earth Day, we stop to see the wonder of our planet's plea for cleaner air and waters clear to keep our home forever near. We plant a tree, we pick up trash, we show our planet love and cash. For every creature, big and small, we want to protect and cherish all. So let's join hands, both big and small, and answer Earth's important call to care for nature every day and keep our planet green and gay. For Earth Days isn't just one day, it's every moment, come what may. Let us promise now to do our part to keep our Earth forever in our heart. So what I'd love for you to do is to think about what you would like to promise yourself that you're going to do to help the earth heal and to help the earth be able to be playful with us again instead of crying out for help. So have fun in Sunday school, and thank you.
Please join me in our unison prayer of invocation. Lord, as a herd following the Good Shepherd, may our words and actions reflect your love and compassion and may our unity be a testament to your boundless grace. Bless this gathering with your presence and inspire us to be instruments of your peace. Amen. And now we will ring our mindfulness bell and spend a few moments of time in quiet meditation.
All right, we come now to joys and concerns. So we'll pass the mic around. If you have a joy or a concern to share, just raise your hand.
a rich theology expressed. In short, the theology of Psalms 23 assumes a divine promise. Trust is evoked by a promise. And the only possibility response to a promise is to live as if the promise is real and trustworthy, or to live as if the promise isn't real or trustworthy. The promise is the ancient psalmist was simple. God is with us. In response, the psalmist confessed, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Despite our lack of trust and failure to follow and all the accompanying consequences, God is still with us and lead us in the right direction on pathways of justice. Now, you guys, this is my first time doing this, so I don't know if I'm supposed to ask you to do the Psalm 23rd with me, but I'm going to ask you to do it with me. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In grass meadows, he makes me lie down by quiet guides. My life he brings back. He leads me on pathways of justice for his name's sake. Though I walk in the valley of death's shadows, I feel no harm. You are, and your staff that consoles me. Set out the table before me in the face of our foes. You moisten my head with oil, my cup overflows. Let but goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for many long days. Amen.
So this is a song about trust in the face of uncertainty or maybe something new and difficult. So I ask you to join us. I hope you know it, at least in the chorus. Sometimes I feel the fear of uncertainty stealing clear, and I can't help but ask myself how much I let the fear take the wheel and steer. Driven me before, it seems to have a vague, haunting mass appeal. Lately I'm beginning to find that I shouldn't be the one behind the wheel. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. Open arms, open eyes, yeah. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. I'll be there. So if I decide to waver my chance to be one of the hive, will I choose water over wine and hold my own and drive? It's driven me before, it seems to be the way that everyone else gets around. Lately I'm beginning to find that when I drive myself, my light is found. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. Open arms, open eyes, yeah. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. I'll be there. Would you choose water over wine? Hold that wheel Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. Open arms, open eyes, yeah. Whatever tomorrow brings, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Right on. Thank you, band. All right, good morning again, everybody. By the way, my name is Josh. I don't think I communicated that this whole service. For those of you who are new, or for those of you coming back, always nice to see. I've been here over a year now, and I'm still finding people that are coming back and getting introduced, so it's a great thing. So glad everybody's here with us this morning, no matter where you're coming from. There are some scriptures in the Bible that are just quoted more than others. Many of them are quoted in ways that aren't necessarily, they're a little bit more foreign to their original intention. Some people can just kind of abstract them and make whatever they want out of them. But then there are others that are just really just stamped into our consciousness because they're what you call a timeless classic. They speak and they cut deep across time, across regions, and across cultures. And Psalm 23 is such a classic. Psalm 23 has stood the test of time, and it remains one of the most beloved passages in the entire Bible, if not the entire world history ever. And I don't think I'm overshooting that. Psalm 23 is just, some people don't even realize it's a psalm anymore, I feel like. They just know it by heart. This psalm it's just so next level that a sermon on it feels kind of redundant, honestly. I struggle to even say anything about it without just letting it speak to you itself. And so before I go on, I at least want to repeat it one more time for you to just soak it in, because oftentimes we hear sermons and, we go in and we pick out these little nuggets that we just kind of remember or take with us during the week. Not enough do we really just dive in and let the text just wash over us and soak in it. And so I want to let you have that opportunity to soak in the text of Psalm 23 one more time. So here it is again for your contemplative pleasure. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In grass meadows, he makes me lie down. By quiet waters, guides me. My life, he brings back. He leads me on pathways of justice for his name's sake. Though I walk in the vale of death's shadow, I fear no harm, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, it is they that console me. You set out a table before me in the face of my foes. You moisten my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Let but goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for many long days. If you've ever spent any amount of time in the outdoors, many, if not all of you, know or have stories about some spiritual connection that you can feel with the earth. Many of us often experience these feelings of peace, awe, wonder, a sense of belonging in nature. The beauty of it, the order of it, the symmetry, the colors. It's different for everybody, but for me, I see it in wild thunderstorms. That's kind of my thing. I see it surfing in the ocean and catching a wave, and not very often it happens, but it opens up perfectly. And you just feel that connection. This is more of a Missouri thing, but finding a good log to just float down the river and soak it in. Or finding a good sturdy tree and hanging a rope to it and swinging out into the middle of that river. That's money for me. I love it. Feeling the crunch of the leaves walking through the woods beneath my feet. Hearing the owl in the distance hoot while you stare into a campfire. I'll leave out the hunting and fishing metaphors for my vegan friends in the house. I sympathize with you. But these are the things that I connect with. And I feel that spiritual connection with nature in. And I'm sure that you have your own ways that you do so as well. Because there's something in nature that nurtures curiosity. It nurtures creativity and appreciation and wonder and imagination. And so it shouldn't come as a surprise to those of us who feel this connection that nature, that we also believe we have a role to play in caring for and protecting nature, caring for and protecting the earth. More than that, though, if it works to Earth's advantage that we do this, to take care of the earth and steward it, it would make sense that God would entertain us with the earth. God would entertain us with sunsets, calm us with waves, delight us in cicadas humming, or birds chirping, or wolves howling, or dogs barking, or cats meowing, or reptiles staring, I don't know, the moon shining, fill in the blank. Whatever it is, it totally makes sense that God would delight us with those things, with this just stunning, insane biodiversity that is all around us, with all of its complexity and its beauty. And it makes sense too, then, that God would lead us to these quiet waters, that God would lead us to grassy meadows, places that encourage rest and replenish us and restore our souls. God leads us away from our mechanical, manufactured environments that we find ourselves just cycling through every day, and into this wild mystery of the world. God leads us to places that cultivate that wonder, that curiosity, that appreciation, and that imagination, and that connection that we all have and we all have felt at some time or another. When we read the psalm, I want you to notice first, in those first verses, God is actually in the subject position. Oftentimes it's not like that. You read the Psalms a lot, and it starts out with somebody who's in trouble, or they've done something wrong, or they're scared, or they're tired, or they're hurt. It usually starts out with somebody who's in some pivotal circumstance or time of crisis. But this one starts out with God in the subject position. Leading. God is leading to grassy meadows, to quiet waters, to these restorative places, and to pathways of justice. That translation that Annette and we all read earlier is from a scholar named Robert Alter. And it's a translation that's kind of renowned for its really precise way of the way he orders and translates the Hebrew in there. And besides the shepherd imagery, the pivot of the psalm is different from a lot of other translations. For justice, when it says, "My life he brings me back, and he leads me on these pathways of justice for his name's sake." Many of you, and myself included, we're probably familiar with the more common translation that says, "He leads me on the path of righteousness." That's probably what you've learned in Sunday school. If you went to it, it's probably that's the translation that everybody seems to know. But in the Bible, right and righteousness are interchangeable with justice. They're actually the same word in Hebrew. And we miss that a lot, especially in America. Our culture tends to just take right to mean correct, or righteousness to just mean good behavior. And very few would think of substituting justice for either of those words. But in this translation, justice takes that crucial, center stage amid such this wondrous array of natural and environmental symbols. In Psalm 23, I think it's important to see that the Lord is the authority. Not a corrupt government or an unjust ruler. Not a scheming corporation mining our land and our resources for profit and production. And God's shepherding Sabbath-type rule here is that of sharing and generosity in a world shaped by productivity and burnout and labor exploitation. But it's shaped by, in this world, in God's world, Sabbath rest, not a power motivated by greedy, corporate-driven kind of economics. The psalmist preaches that this, Psalm 23, is the reality of God's empire. God's world, this beloved community, over and against the oppression of humanity and the world that we inhabit. Through this empire, God restores us to true humanity. God restores the world to the true world, to ecological thriving, with which the current world right now, as Ken mentioned in the children's sermon, it's really hard to recognize sometimes because the world is so hurt and wounded. Citizens of this world, of the Psalm 23 world, are called forward on pathways of justice to make God's name and reign known. But to get there, we just might have to walk through some dark valleys, through the veil of death's shadow, as the translation says. In those verses of the psalm, the subject switches from the position of God doing the leading to the psalmist. And it says, even though I walk through the darkest valley, even though I walk through the veil of death's shadow. In other words, death's shadow, that's not the place where God leads us. That's not where God leads us, but it's where life will most certainly take us at some point or another. These dark valleys aren't God's plan for testing. Sometimes we make choices, we make laws, we make policies or profits that lead us to some very deep and dark valleys. Sometimes we're thrown into death's shadow, whether it be by historical forces beyond our control, like climate change, or economic recession or inflation, pandemics, atrocities of war and aggression, violence, all of these, life leads us down to these places. However it happens, though, when we come to these dark valleys, like we all have at some point or another, or we all will at some point or another, or maybe we're going through one right now, this psalm is a reminder for us to trust in God's presence. With an unequivocal, with a beautiful simplicity, the psalmist states with conviction that God is with us. God prepares a table for us in the midst of all of our troubles. In other words, God nourishes us and replenishes us every step of the way. God leads us to still waters when it is possible. Yes, but when it comes to the dark valleys and the veil of death's shadow, it's not like God looks at his watch and says, well, I better get going. See you on the other side. No. God walks with us. God walks beside us in and through life's chaos, offering a rod and a staff to guide us and help us get through together. In these days of polarization, where we're getting pulled in so many different directions, and we're all getting pulled apart from one another, and from ourselves even, disconnected from the very land that we inhabit, Our attention, our resources, our commitments, our thoughts, our emotions, our souls. The valley can seem so narrow, and the shadows can seem so deep. But Psalm 23 gives us at least two ways forward. First, and again, it reminds us that God is not waiting on the other side of that dark valley. God is not waiting on the other side of death's shadow. God is with us, accompanying us every step of the way through each part of the day. God isn't up there. God isn't, somewhere distant. God is here. God is among us, and God is with us. I think that's important to remember. And second, it reminds us that nature, our world, this earth, serves many purposes, not the least of which is to awaken within us wonder, to inspire us, to calm our minds and restore our souls. And although we usually think of this as, this restful, serene poem, but from this alternative translation and perspective we've kind of encountered today, it becomes a very active psalm. It's a very active poem. It's a very active prayer. Doing justice is not easy, as we know. Doing justice is not easy, but when you drive the roads of the pathways of justice, you come face to face with the foes of sin, of evil, of corruption, exploitation, even death. But we don't fear engaging the powers of this world on behalf of the world, because God is in us and God is in the world. God's rod, God's staff are not the instruments of torture or punishment. It's not the instruments of some authoritarian regime or, some brutal dictator or, this brutal kind of image. God's rod and staff are instruments of consolation and encouragement to us, even in the most terrible of situations, surrounded by enemies. God makes a place for us at God's table and provides in this wild unknown of our world and our time. Psalm 23 ends with a prayer for faithfulness, that those pursuing this pathway of justice will remain steadfast to the influence of God until the end. And when read in a more political kind of lens, this psalm that is often used at funerals or hospital bedsides suddenly becomes kind of an anthem of protest as a vehicle for change. Can it still be comforting? Yes, absolutely. It should be comforting. It's a trust psalm, like we had read earlier. But it's also a reminder to those of us who are struggling through life, or those of us who find ourselves on the margins of society. It reminds us that we are citizens of a more just realm, where the poor, where the mourning, where the hungry, where the persecuted, where the hurting, where those who are seeking peace are blessed. The God of generosity and justice is present and active and with us. And this psalm also calls God's people to stay on the path of justice, and that all injustice and all oppression and death can and will be overcome. The Sabbath reign of God has not only come near, but is here. So, fellow pilgrims on this pathway of life, this pathway of justice, don't lose heart this morning. Don't lose heart. Don't get discouraged by the times we're in. In the situations that we find ourselves in on this Earth Day weekend. It might be a long, long, hard, narrow road to healing. It might be a long, hard road through that veil of death's shadow, but the road is before us. We have only to keep walking and to follow our feet. So let's continue to do that together. Thank you.
I'll invite the ushers forward. Please give your support as you are able.
I invite you to join us as you are able in this song, which is, in a way, a call to acknowledge the ways that we may feel like we can't make a change, and then to take action.
My friends, we're all misunderstood. They say we stand for nothing, and there's no way we ever could.
We see everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. We feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it. So keep on waiting, waiting for the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting for the world to change. It's hard to beat the system when we're standing at a distance. So we keep on waiting, waiting for the world to change.
If we had the power, bring the neighbors home from war, they would have never missed your Christmas. No more ribbons on the door.
When you trust your television, what you get is what you got. When they own the information, they can bend it all they want. Keep on waiting, waiting for the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting for the world to change. It's not that we don't care, we just know the fight ain't fair. Keep on waiting, waiting for the world to change. Waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. One day our generation is gonna rule the population. So keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change.
Dear God, we come to you today with grateful hearts, thankful for all the blessings and abundance you have given us. Amen.
All right, thank you, Jaime, and thank you, Dave and Terry, for that song. Just a little comment for the benediction on that song. It reminds me of Advent. And I know that's kind of weird, but waiting on the world to change. Advent is that season of waiting when we come to Christmas and, we're waiting for the Christ child to be born, the light to come into the world. But we're waiting actively. We know we can't change the world by ourselves. We know that as a community, we really can't change the world by ourselves even. But while we're waiting for the rest of the world to change, we're doing something. And our waiting is an active one. So may we continue to wait actively to change the world. Amen.
This may be a new song, but perhaps after you hear the first part, you can join in part.
No audio?
May your voice be louder. May your voice be clearer. Than all the others. Than all the others. May your face be dearer. May your face be clearer. Than all the others. My God, than all the others. In my life, please keep my eyes fixed on you. Please root my heart so deep in you. Keep me abiding, keep me abiding, keep me abiding that I may bear fruit. May your presence be truer. May your presence be nearer. Than all the others. Than all the others. May your light burn brighter. May your love be deeper. Than all the others, my God. Than all the others in my life. Please keep my eyes fixed on you. Please root my heart so deep in you. Keep me abiding. Keep me abiding. Keep abiding, that I may bear fruit. Please keep my eyes fixed on you. Please root my heart so deep in you. Keep me abiding, keep me abiding, keep me abiding.